Yeah, disappointing really. Thought we huffed and puffed a bit and didn't really blow. I feel like, yeah, a lot of just under par performances. But delighted for Ben Perry, who I thought done well, and Dara. Two lads who obviously not been playing lately, but managed to get themselves to really good minutes. So really positive in that respect. I thought Max Dyche was really good again. But just a few too many on the par today, and it's shown. And really disappointed in the goals. Really disappointed in the manner we've conceded the goals. But look, it is what it is. Wrexham quality side. You see, with the subs they have and everybody else. Being an ex-Premier League for another Premier League player on, it's great for them. And it's a great story from their side. But look, we're disappointed. But we've got to look at the big picture. We've matched a lot of big teams in this league over the last few weeks, and so to say that we're disappointed because of what we've produced today is hopefully showing how far we're coming, or how far we have come, and where we want to go to. And yeah, so we're disappointing day, but look, we move on.
You mentioned there about the goals you conceded, just how frustrating they are. You would have done so much work on those direct balls that Wrexham played, and to be beaten by those kind of two long straight balls and a second ball, real kick in the teeth for you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, because Jordan's been brilliant for us this week, and he's woke up today and he's had a goal. But when you're not feeling 100% and the knee wasn't feeling great, and that's why we took him off. But these are chances you've got to take sometimes, and we took a chance on him, and he's really disappointed. Come off, apologising, but he's got nothing to apologise about. He's been fantastic since I've walked in the door, and but the manner in which we conceded them is poor from our standards of what we've set over the past weeks, and that's what the disappointment comes. But listen, I can't. These lads have been brilliant since they've walked through the door, and they're getting there slowly but surely. A lot of them playing with injuries and knocks and bruises, and so sometimes you're going to get them performances, and unfortunately too many had them today, and we couldn't hide it really, and we were punished for our sloppiness really, and two just long hopeful balls, which you've got to give credit to them. Fantastic finish on the first one, and the second one, the midfield, which we know what they're like. They're really good, and they crushed space really well, and they picked it up, and it was a good finish. But I haven't seen them back yet, so I'll have to see it again. But yeah, from what I can remember, very poor on my behalf.
Yeah, obviously you're overwhelming contenders with your own side, but they really controlled that second half, didn't they? Wrexham, you mentioned earlier, you couldn't really get into it. They always felt like they had control of the match.
Yeah, obviously got good players, haven't they? And they managed the game well, and they've been used to it now, and they're on a roller coaster ride, one hell of a ride at the minute. So yeah, good luck to them for the rest of the season. Yeah, we've just got to concentrate on us, put it down to a bad day at the office. I'll be disappointed. Next 24, 48 hours we'll be looking at it, going back through it. We'll work hard all week on training. We've got a big game here again next week, so yeah, we as I just said to the lads, be disappointed, but make sure when you come in on Monday you're ready to work with your smiles back on your faces, because you've been excellent over the last few weeks, and we've got a good few weeks coming up which we can really put a stamp on the league again and start getting wins and points on the board again.
You're missing Tom Eves and Liam Shaw today, they've been massive for you in the last few weeks. What can you tell us about them at this stage? Yeah,
well, he picked up a bit of a knock. He hyperextended his knee in the game against Mansfield. Obviously managed to get through the game, but just felt a little bit of soreness. So he had a scan. Again, we were looking at weeks with him. Not too sure. As I say, I don't like giving weeks, because if they're not back, then they're behind or they're a bit above. So yeah, he is where he is at the minute, but we'll manage him day by day, go week to week with him at the minute. Liam Shaw just felt something in his hip early on in the week. We tried to sort of see how we'd be during the end of the week. We didn't really train him yesterday, just to see if we could we can wheel him out today and he can play through that pain, but the pain just felt a bit too much for him, so unfortunately he missed out. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be too bad, and we'll see him back in the lineup pretty soon.
Just a word on those players that replaced him today. Like you mentioned, Ben Perry first start in league football. He's not shy getting stuck in, is he?
No, he's a great kid. Yeah, he's typical. Warren Joyce is accredited with all them young lads over there now at Forest, and you can see, you know, he when you go and watch his teams, his 18s, his 21s, he got them 18s to the final a couple of years ago, you know, and done a great job, and you can see that, you know, he's a confident lad. I think he's got real good attributes about him, and you know, it really reminds me of a younger Ryan Yates. I had Yates at Notts County, so he's a pleasure to work with, and I'm hoping, you know, he's going to continue to get, you know, really good minutes and compete, and hopefully he'll go back a better player for Nottingham Forest at the end of the season.
And just finally, like you mentioned, no room to disappointment. League One moves on. You've got a big game here next week against Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, of course. I also want to mention Dara. You know, you've got hats off to Burnley, you know, giving us him, and he's not played much football in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So to get through 90 minutes today is an absolute credit to him and the staff at Burnley for his fitness levels and physical levels. So credit to him today, and delighted with him. And I think he's going to be a huge success here. So hopefully, again, another one who's going to go back to his parent club in a better place. So yeah, but yeah, moving forward. Bristol, our home. Yeah, we're at home. It's going to be a tough one. We all tough games in this next week, but you know, I'm at home. As I said to you, you know, during the week, I want to start making this place a bit of a fortress. So you know, obviously, it wasn't meant to be today, so it goes again, and we start again next week.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, mate.